I haven't talked to this big of a group since I taught kindergarten. And there's always a lead in every group. So I spend all my time outside. I do have a studio, and I do not know anything about that life. But so I spend hours and hours outside every day, and most of it is with my dog and nobody else. So groups, I love to hear what other people are doing, but it's hard in Winnemucca. Humboldt County, you know, we make a big plan, we get out there, and they're done in like an hour. And I just like, you know, have taken it in and not any pictures. So I've been spending a lot of time checking out those old honks. So I go back through my archive and then I see, oh, I could have done this, and I've been going back. So it's pretty cool. So I do a lot of volunteering. Some of it is in the classroom. Some of it's with old people. I really like old people and kids right now, so they're my favorite. I put the soup kitchen on there because those are the stories that I cannot take photos of, but I'm trying to figure out different ways that I can get those stories saved. So Shooting the West is in Winnemucca, and it's my favorite event. I used to play hooky at school. I would call in sick. And until I was like on the front page of the newspaper, you know, in a group shot. So I got in trouble. It used to be at the end of the year, and I could not go because there's days you can't take off. I would always call in sick. They knew where I was, but so now I go and I'm there like from the sun up to sundown, and I try to like make that my little thing all year long. I talk about shooting the West. So Paradise Valley, it has some of the most, in these, hopefully you guys can see, but they have the most interesting fence lines. And when you're on a 16-hour branding and you're like checking out the fence lines, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, you know, the blood and guts and all that, you know. But after about 4 hours, you're just one of the guys, you're covered in it, no matter where I stood. And this cow picture, this is my Norman. If I could take one home, this little calf, I'm telling you, I don't know how many pictures, but we had so much fun that day because the calves were young. This branding, I think, was in May, it was a few years ago. It was the first part of May. And when they brought them in that morning. So they didn't realize how young the calves were. So there was extra care taken, and they weren't released right back out. So we were there for extra long. This cowboy here, he knows I use this photo all the time, but I love the colors. He always wears, you know, like traditional wear, but it's always colorful. I always tease him. Okay, my slides are
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I know, I'll stand over here. So Community Living Magazine is Shelley Gerhardt out of Winnemucca, and Carolyn DeFarino was the editor when I was there. And so I would go out and do all these wild adventures, taking photos of like interesting people, places, and events. So I did this for years. I never made a cent. Like I would like go and I would hang out with all the people. Like they didn't really care that I didn't really belong there. You know, I've been on balloon rides and they're like, who are you with? And I'm like, I'm by myself, you know. So the things that I learned probably is just to have fun. So this is, Dennis is laughing. This is why I do it. And like in these, there's Humboldt County, Eureka, and Carson City. And this story was when they were doing the archaeological dig, and I was talking to Larry about the Indian. They didn't want me to take any pictures, but I'm there to cover a story. So I just hung out, and by the end of the day, we just kind of had to step aside and take some others at a different part of the dig. But so I've tried to save some history things, and I'm really big into family friendly. So this magazine I really loved. So this is my favorite magazine. She did not want me to say that. So this has been going on. I am from Oregon, even though it says I was born in California. I'm from Oregon. And so when I came to Nevada, I'm like, I don't like it here. There's no trees. And it took, I want to say, it took probably 10 years to really love it. And then now when people, anybody I meet, I'm like, have you seen this or have you been here? And I give them the Nevada magazine, and I've been doing it for years. And I was telling Carrie, Walmart's not carrying it anymore. Barnes and Noble, they shudder when they come in because they don't keep them all in the same area. There's a few here, and I'm like, I need a whole bunch. So, but basically I'm like an ambassador because I've been to these places. Like that is my favorite cover because of the blue too. But I've been to these places. I know the whole state. And so I can talk to somebody there were people at the gallery from Germany, and I could talk to them about a couple places close to here. And then when people are in Winnemucca and they're traveling through, there's things to see in, Wells and Elko, Wendover. So it helps me be the little spokesperson. Unofficially, I've never said that I work for Nevada Magazine. I've never gotten any reimbursement. I'm just doing it because I did it way before I knew Kippy. And so, as all good teachers, I had a plan. And the first one was find a gallery. And it wasn't just a gallery because I had done that. And I have my things in the museum, and I'm really proud of the pictures that are there. But I needed a home. And it's really hard when you're in rural Nevada because they'll say, where can we see your stuff? So I'd be like, oh, I'm working on that. So I finally wrote down a plan. And number 2, take more photos. You'll hear later why that's very important. And then edit, print, and publish. Gordon's print. And publish, I have 2 photos that one for the Pacific Crest Trail. They're going to use them in advertising. So I'll be letting everybody know. Out of 48, I have 2 out of 48. So they'll use them for the whole year, and I just love that. So number 4, Fred and I. So that's happening. I'll talk about that at the end. And then Mark, right here. He did a wonderful job at shooting the West, and he did this. It was already on my plan, and I have not done it. But he used kids with rocks and music, and they went outside. They did all the things I love. They took photos, they drew, they wrote. And so as a teacher, I just think that's the best way to get back. And number 6 goes back to storytelling. The elderly get confused, so I've been working on that too. Like questions to ask that would be specific. Don't look at the slide. So the first thing, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite Burning Man pictures. I put that on there to make me feel good. Okay, so you guys can all read that. We'll just pass that. So this is the big one. And just like the playa desk, you can get lost in research. So if you don't know why you want to be in a gallery, I'm not going to tell you all my reasons, but it was to participate in a community, in a group experience with peers or, people that are outstanding in their field. The internet, it's MD said it's 2018, so we should be using it. But I'm a slow learner, so I do most of my things face to face. And it's old fashioned, and you really do have to get in people's faces to ask questions. That's all I did at first, was ask questions. The connections, all the business cards I've collected, and I've been able to use those. I've been able to remember where I met the person, and then be able to go back and say, hey, MD, I talked to you at Shooting West. Can we do this? And he's like, yeah, we can. Email me. So the cold quest, I've actually had pretty good luck with that. Maybe not as big of a coffee shop as where Kristen has her stuff downstairs, but there's a coffee shop in Oregon, and it's just, they sell, kind of vegan donuts. I'm not sure what that is. So that's in the works, but it's taken a while because that was a cold thing. I went in there and said, I love your stuff, I want to do this, and so it's taken probably over a year now, and we're still working on it. Portfolio, okay, this is the thing. Everybody has their phone and you have photos on it, and you should have some of your own work. but always carry a piece. And I learned that the hard way. I had to make a few round trips to places I didn't really maybe want to go back to with a piece. So in my car right now, I have maybe 6 or 8. So I think that's, even though you don't want to damage them, scratch them, you want it to be your best work, I just take my favorites. They have a story, and the people want to hear the story more than they want to see the art, but they need to see it, touch it. I'm into the aluminum right now, but before that I had canvases, which I think actually traveled nicer. But, and when I said piece, I think I wrote myself a note. It really does only have to be one piece, but it has to have a really good story to go with it. Okay, so I'm retired. I'm looking at the A-frames. These are pictures I took because once I decided I wanted one, I found them everywhere. So choice A and choice B. When I was doing the research, I made a few mistakes, and I did get into galleries where I knew nobody and I knew nothing about them. And that was my choice B. But I want to say that has turned into different connections. But the choice A has worked out with a lot of work, and I'm going to go into that. But the bells and whistles, when you're looking for a gallery, it's going to be different for everybody, but you need to make sure that there's some bells and whistles. Kristen, she has, and you both have the sparkly lights downstairs, and you have a trendy crowd that's coming in. So, I mean, you have to decide what kind of, where do you want your things, That's the biggest thing for me is the bells and whistles. So, comfort, can you stretch your legs out? Can you wear your tennis shoes? Yeah, you're talking about a gallery. Fred's over here. So, you might want to wear your best clothes, but then I'm always shooting. So I shoot all the way from Winnemucca to Carson City. I might have stayed up all night. Who knows? So you want to make sure that you fit with the crowd that you're working with. And the long haul, that means that just like these A-frames, I'm sure they last more than 5 years. But are you going to use them in 5 years? Are you going to want this gallery in 5 years? Or whatever your long haul is. Okay, well the word that's crossed off there is role. And I kind of want to say that commissions, and I know that there's a lot of people that do commissions, and I love that. I just have never done that. So my role is as an artist with the co-op, the Nevada Artists Association, then I get to help. I get to be on the sales floor. You can volunteer, attend meetings, demos. You can put on the demos. I mean, there's so many different roles. And right now, I'm just learning how to do the front desk. Like I said, I'm a slow learner, so that's what I'm doing. The time commitment, it's what you want. And the galleries, I mean, we can pay to have somebody sit. I don't even have to learn the front desk, but I want to. I want to be able to say I can handle it. It's a business. Investment, once you've made the commitment to choice A, then what are you going to do? And this is kind of the tricky thing, because once I decided that I wanted, the gallery, and it's downstairs, so they have wine walks, they have all kinds of events that come into town. When those bicyclers were in town and the roads were all closed off, people were walking that had never walked this side because they were parked over there. And so it's kind of cool. Whatever events are going on, I think that helps the gallery, and it gets, more people out. So the networking, I wrote myself some notes about this, but once you've made the commitment and I say, I show my things at the gallery, then you're representing the gallery. I'm only talking for myself. Nobody told me what to say. I'm looking at Fred. Is that okay to say? But I think you're representing the gallery. I don't have it on my business card, but I have my things here. I'm a member, and I feel like that is something that you need to take seriously. As far as the fun things that I've done, it's, the artists come in themselves to see the show. And to me, that's the best part of the networking. I've met, I don't know how many, dozens of artists that come in. They want to see their piece, they want to see my piece, they want to look at the whole show. And it's every 4 to 6 weeks, so it's a constant. And that's the part that I like the best. So it's not networking like you think, it's in-house networking. So after you've bought your said vehicle or made a commitment to the gallery, then the tune-up, you know, you drive off the lot or you say, yep, I've signed, I've paid my dues, then what? Well, this is the tricky part, and I probably don't need my notes at all for this, because the growth is what you're doing. So like I see Kristen's stuff downstairs and I'm like, oh, you know, but it's not just what I can do, it's what the other people are doing too. So being in a group, you're inspired to do that. That's the next one. And there's causes. So like Safe Haven, you know, I took pictures out there, made a scarf. There's different causes. Some of you are into wild horses, so there's all kinds of things you can do for that. But the inspiration for me, like I said, goes back to the kids, but also we're up against the cell phone, and I don't have a really, you know, like $1,000 cell phone, but there's a lot of difference between people that stand next to me with their cell phones and they think they're they're photographers because they have their phone with them. And I don't see anything wrong with that at all. Like, I don't argue with them or anything. But I think that we have an opportunity to inspire generations, even if it's just with those Polaroids that are coming out, because the kids love to have something. Their parents haven't printed anything for them. So when you hand them a Polaroid, it's just like the feeling of the very first Polaroids. They're like, what is this? It's that photo you just took. So that to me is where I'm headed with some of, it's about the engagement. So I want to do less with Polaroids and kids. So collaboration, I've already kind of talked about that, but that's also, once you're there, like I go to the Cattleman's update. You know, it's Winnemucca, there's a room like you, and they're all into the cat. But I go to hear what BLM has to say about the wild horses, because that was their #1, you know, speaker. So, and then I do the small business, Nevada small business workshops. And when I was there, you know, I'm talking about to another photographer, and then there was a lady that does long arm quilting, and I'm like, oh, I'm so into that too. And we got to talking, and then the guy from the small business, he says, here, take my card. I want you to do one day at our town. And I'm like, okay, never even dreamed. It's just one day, but folks, if you've ever been to Art Town, it's so cool. And to go with, it's made in Nevada. So, I mean, if you just heard what we were saying, I wasn't even really talking about me. I was encouraging the photographer and finding out when the long arm lady is going to be set up with her. We were calling it an outhouse.
Cindy, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm done. So sustainable at the gallery, you have to have something new every 4 to 6 weeks, and you need to ask yourself, can you do that? Can you get out and bring in new things? Do you have an archive that will do it? So last night, I've made some emails, but last night I found out that this True Grit, it's at the community college, and it's an exhibit. It's fabulous, 75 pieces. And they're from all over the region. They're not just from Carson, like I'm in Winnemucca, and there was somebody from Incline, and there's college student work. So that guitar is mine. Mark sent a deck of 52 cards in the mail, and from here in Carson, from his office, and then you could do anything you wanted. So I took 52 photos. I didn't have to use anybody else's photos, and they're all related to the book, kind of / the movie. And then the other picture there is just a random gallery shot, because it's open until July 6th, and it just won this award, Carson's Best Event of 2018. So this is why Kippy asked me, is because I have arrived. Fred and I are going to have an exhibit. We're going to have our own show. Sorry, Fred, your name is kind of tweaked there. He is fabulous. You can't really see his work there, but if you want to, there's some downstairs. Follow him on Facebook. And I'm not sure what I'm going to put in, but I probably use you know, some of my patriotic things because it'll be around September, and it goes through the middle of October, so it'll be there for 6 weeks. And I'm going to put a last plug in. So even if you're not interested in the gallery, there's a photography show, and you don't have to be a member, but you can put 2 photos in, and it's in July. So that's my last plug.
Good. Good.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.